Hey everybody, welcome back to Mr. Finchem's Fireside Follow-Alongs, and today we are going to continue on with Beyond the Horizon. Before we jump into Chapter 2, let's do a quick summary of what's happened in the story so far, a quick little recap. Sarah finds out that her dad is on his way, you can call it a business trip. He's going to be leaving for a while on a ship called the Trades Increase, which he is the captain of. She doesn't want to stay at home. He tells her, "Hey, I'm going to India. There's no place. There's no place for little girls, right?" She doesn't take no for an answer. Instead of kind of pleading with him or begging or trying to persuade him, she decides, "I'm going to sneak on board." So what does she do? She puts on disguising clothes, and she cuts all of her hair off to look like a boy, meets the ship's cook, and basically gets a job posing as a chef aboard the ship. The father doesn't know yet that he is on board with his daughter, but it's too late now. They have set sail, and they are on their way to India. So right now we're going to start on page 22, but before we do that, let's jump into the ELA questions and tasks. So, as always, for every reading that we do, for every video, there is 3 questions to be answered. Here's the first one, the reading and writing task. On page 23, how does Sarah view the place where the Mughal ruler lives? How is Cook's view different? Include text evidence in your answer. So I'm going to read that one more time. I kind of chopped it up. On page 23, how does Sarah view the place where the Mughal ruler lives? So she's going to a place where there is somebody who is known as a Mughal ruler. How does she view the place where they live? How is Cook's view different? Include text evidence in your answer. And the second one, the text self-connection. Imagine you are lost in a big city and you don't recognize any landmarks to help guide you. What would you do? You do not have a cell phone. There are no payphones. Just your own brain to help you. What do you do first? What would you do if that didn't work? Write a paragraph or 2 telling me about your adventure. So you are lost in a strange city. No cell phone, no way to contact anybody on the outside. What do you do? How would you proceed to find out, A, where you are, and B, how you're going to get back to where you're going? So write a couple paragraphs for the story. And the extension. This is the third one. Let's compare 2 characters' perspectives. On page 25, details like Cook's purchases and his statement that the local traders would have the clothes off your back suggest that Cook is very focused on his task and that he does not trust the local people. What details help you understand Sarah's perspective of the events at the market? So, you're going to be comparing 2 perspectives, Cook's and Sarah's. And as always, there is a video which I will be adding to the extra ELA videos section. And it is about cooking food, 17th century food. It's kind of interesting. And as always, these are on the newsletter. So if you guys want to refer back to it, these have been sent out to Seesaw, the ELA questions and tasks section of your newsletter. So, without any further delay, let's begin on page 22, chapter 2, Beyond the Horizon. The Trades Increase sailed down the inlet from the sea toward the city of Surat, steering clear of the mangroves that threatened to block its way. Captain Booth gave orders for the ship to berth at one of the wharfs jutting out into the water. Alongside drifted the Adventurer, limping into the docks. There were other ships out in the harbor, all flying different colors, though none carried more guns than the Trades Increase. Farther down the channel stood a fort, appearing to rise out of the water itself, with tall, rounded towers at its corners. Flags of dark green rippled in the breeze on top of all tall turrets. Of tall turrets. A little better picture. So these are turrets. They're almost like little towers. These things on the side, that's what turrets are. Just notice the green flags. All right, now we're going to go to page 23. Clustered at each side were a straggle of wooden houses stacked side by side. They reminded Sarah of the crates in the hold. Beyond the city, dry plains stretched out into the distance, flickering in the heat. This is the Mughal emperor's, said Cook, nodding at the fort. Though his real palace is far from here, Sarah gazed at the fort. It's magical. If you say so, said Cook. The trade's increase didn't have much in the way of goods to unload, just some cases of unwrought metal and some wool, which Captain Booth intended to trade for fresh provisions. It was on the journey back that the hold would be packed to the gunwales. So, let's kind of break down some of these words first. They have wool, they have metal, they're going to trade it for fresh provisions. Provisions are like supplies. Supplies that you would eat. So food, things like that. So they're going to trade those for food. That's what their plan is now. And it was on the journey back that the hold would be packed to the gunwales. The hold is just the part of the ship where you store stuff. The same way planes have the places to put cargo. Same thing with the ship. And the gunwale is just like the side of the ship. So they're just saying that on the way back, the plan is to be so packed full of stuff that the hold is going to be completely full. All right, so we're going to go to page 24. First paragraph. Once we have unloaded our freight, see that the men are paid some of what they are due and give them leave, Captain Booth told the first mate. Set the curfew for 7 bells, and have Cook and the boy of his seek out some good fare for our table tonight, something fresh. So, now that they've docked, Captain Booth says, give some men some money and then pay them leave. Leave is just like another way of saying, okay, give them some time off, right? They've been sailing for a while. He's telling them, give them some money, let them go into the city, and the curfew, when you need to be back, is 7 bells. Next paragraph. Sarah and Cook walked to the short street that ran alongside the docks. Customers in stalls blocking their path at every turn, while dark-eyed cows wandered freely as if the street were their town, or were their own. There were barrows with neatly stacked pyramids of fruits and vegetables, purple, orange, and yellow, like a sunset. In one barrel, there were pale green strings, in another, bright red fingers. Sarah couldn't put a name to any of them. So now she is looking at some exotic fruits. They're at a little market. Thin, red, bright red. Could be some sort of pepper, right? Same with the green, a green string, maybe some sort of string bean. But she doesn't know. She's not used to seeing these kind of things that are available here in India, right? So she is just trying to identify what they are. And now we're going to go to page 25. Notice all the fruit. We got some pineapple, oranges, bananas. All right. First paragraph. Spice traders with white turbans coiled around their heads called out, their piles of bright powder pungent in the heat. Cook chose some fresh ginger, some little dark cloves, and a stick of sandalwood. This will turn the captain's stew a lovely color, he remarked. Cook began haggling with the trader. They'll have the clothes off your back if you let them, these locals, he muttered, wandering off to find a butcher. So Cook is haggling with the traders. Haggle is just another word for bargain. So an example of that might be, let's pretend these eggplants right here, these purple ones. Let's pretend that the trader is saying, hey, these are 50 cents a piece. You can buy one eggplant for 50 cents. If you wanted to haggle, maybe you would tell them, look, I only have 40 cents, but I would like to buy one. Here's my 40 cents. Will you accept 40 for one of them? and you kind of negotiate with him. That's what haggling is. Okay. So what he's saying is, so he's haggling with the traders, and then he tells her they'll have the clothes off your back if you let them. These locals. So what does that mean? That they'll have the clothes off your back. What do you guys think that means? We're going to go to the next page, page 26. Oh, here's another picture of the cat. Tom. All right, first paragraph. Sarah felt something rub up against her leg. She flinched, thinking it was a rat, but it was the ship's cat, upright and proud. Tom, Sarah gasped. Whatever are you doing here? She asked, scooping him up. Naughty cat, she reprimanded. Sarah scanned the crowd for Cook to let him know she was going to take Tom back to the ship. At that moment, Tom sank his bat claws into Sarah's arm and wriggled free, dropping to his feet. In a trice he was gone, weaving through the legs of people passing by and dashing down a side street. Sarah ran after him, her eyes fixed on the cat's tail. Tom fled through the muddle of streets, Sarah close behind, the buildings looming over them like cliffs. If any of you have a cat, you know that when they want to get away from you, it is not easy to catch them, right? It's not easy. So imagine trying to catch a cat in a town or on a street that you've never been to. You don't know anybody, you don't know where anything is, and it's packed like a market. Not easy. So she's looking for Cook here to tell him, hey, I'm going to take the cat back, but she can't find him. Now we're going to go to page 27. First paragraph. Tom, Sarah yelled as she ran, her boots dusty, her shirt soaked through. Ahead, a mud wall blocked the end of the passageway. Sarah slowed down and allowed herself to smile. The chase ended here. Tom, she called once again to the fleeing cat, bending down low in an attempt to gain his attention. Tom paused for a moment to give his flight a second thought. Wasn't she his companion who had fed him on board the ship? Then, with an unkind glance and a flash of his tail, he leaped up onto the wall and vanished again. And there's him, jumping up. So, now Tom is lost. Or if he's not lost yet, he's going to be, right? The cat is running away. So that is page 27. This is kind of a short one, but we are going to stop there for today. So again, before we close out on today's reading, we are going to review the questions, so listen closely. And as a reminder, if you guys want to see these written instead of just hearing my voice, then go to the newsletter, the ELA Questions and Tasks. This is for the reading and writing task. On page 23, how does Sarah view the place where the Mughal ruler lives? How is Cook's view different? Include text evidence in your answer. So they pull up to this place, Sarah and Cook, right, in the ship. And the Mughal ruler lives there. How does Sarah view that? How is Cook's view different? Include text evidence in your answer. The text-to-self connection. Imagine you are lost in a big city and you don't recognize any landmarks to help guide you. What would you do? You do not have a cell phone. There are no payphones. Just your own brain to help you. What would you do first? What would you do if that didn't work? Write me a paragraph or two telling me about your adventure. I want you guys to get creative with this. What would your character do in a strange city? How would you survive that if you were lost? And the extension. Let's compare two characters' perspectives. On page 25, details like Cook's purchases and his statement that the local traders would have the clothes off your back suggests that Cook is very focused on his task and that he does not trust the local people. What details help you understand Sarah's perspective of the events at the market? So keep in mind, perspective is just another way of saying point of view. If you and me read a book, we might have two different perspectives on that book. Maybe you liked it, maybe I didn't think it was that great, or the other way around. Maybe I had a favorite character, but you had a different perspective. Maybe you liked a different character the best, okay? So compare the perspectives between Sarah and Cook of the events at the market. And I want you guys to check out the video, the food cooking demonstration of 17th century food. That is going to be on the Extra ELA video section of our YouTube channel. And as always, thank you guys for following along with me. I really do wish we could be doing this in person, but we're trying to make the best of it as we can. So if you guys need help or have questions or just want to share your thoughts with me, please do. I love hearing from you guys. As always, you can write me an email. You can post some questions or comments in the comment section below, or write me on Seesaw. I am looking forward to hearing the first couple paragraphs of your story where you are lost in a city. That's what I'm looking forward to probably the most. But again, thank you guys for following along with me, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.